white and black, cats and dogs, yin and yang, people that don't subscribe to Vlad Nerd, and people who are cool. These are total opposites, my dear nerds. But you see, I've never liked this term total opposites or opposing camps because it's a very confusing term. Usually, people that are in opposing camps, they usually want the same thing, it's just that they are on different sides of the same coin. And the sad thing is that most of the time they don't even know that they want the same thing because, like humans, that's what humans do, they get stuck in their own subjectivity. And this unfortunately happens in our very, very beautiful niche as well, where people have been waging a war that's been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, meaning that the horizontal loving handheld nerds were always fighting with the vertical loving handheld nerds. Both of them thought their version, their choice was better than the other. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're both wrong and that you should sit down and shut up and listen to me, because I am here to bring peace upon these lands. You see, the truth of the matter is that vertical handhelds have certain advantages and horizontal handhelds have other advantages, and they both possess certain disadvantages as well. And I think that in an ideal world, everybody should have at least one form factor of each. So embark with me on this neurotic thought, because I've been stewing upon this dilemma for literal weeks by this point, and I think that it's high time we all put down our torches and pitchforks and start hugging each other and start subscribing to my channel, because that's how we bring peace upon the planet. So prepare your favorite carb of choice, your favorite beverages, yes, I'm still plagiarizing Russ with this one, and let's embark on this quest. But before we do though, segue, I just want to quickly mention that both of these awesome handhelds, and by that I mean the RG406V, this beauty, and the RG406H, this black beauty right here, and just look at this for a second. You see, I did a review of the RG406H, but that was the transparent purple one. Look at how beautiful this black unit looks. I am in awe of this color variant right here, and I'm just so happy that LitNXT sent me the black unit as well. And as always, I just want to let you know that this video is not sponsored in any way. Nobody gave me money and nobody saw this video beforehand. All thoughts here are my own. However, I do want to give you a nice pointer. LitNXT has a Christmas sale going on, and both of these bad boys are currently 15% off. So if by the end of the video you realize that you want one of them, use the link in my description. That actually helps the channel out. They are affiliate links, meaning that the price for you remains the same, but you help me caffeinate myself for more videos along the way. Anyway, my nerds, I could start this by talking about the different form factors and ergonomics, but I'm not gonna treat you like you're a baby in this niche. I know you're probably in this niche watching a ton of YouTube videos, just like I was before I went to this other level of starting a YouTube channel myself. So I assume that you know the difference between a vertical and a horizontal, but I do want to point out some glaring differences between them, which I noticed along the way. And I'm gonna start with the vertical one, and then I'm gonna go to the horizontal one. You see, I've never met a vertical handheld that has analog triggers. They all have digital buttons on the back, meaning that if you play racing games, think GameCube for example, you can't use analog input to accelerate with a car depending on how much pressure you put on the back trigger. Whereas most horizontal handhelds, they actually have analog triggers, as you can see. You might be asking yourself, why is this thing a thing? Why is this vertical discrimination going on? And I have the perfect answer. I don't know. Not even the more expensive vertical variants have analog triggers. My guess is that they would just, I know, look ugly on the back or be more prone to getting caught in the pocket linen when you would pocket these things? I can't tell you exactly, but yeah, for some people this might be a hard limitation on the vertical form factor. However, the vertical form factor wins when it comes to older generation platforms, meaning anything that was 8-bit and 16-bit. There's simply a thing about old 2D games just belonging in a vertical form factor. It's that simple. You can't plop this in a horizontal boy like this one and expect it to feel the same. It simply won't, and that's because we have been trained on the idea that things that look similar to what the Game Boy played should belong in a vertical device. And in that same vein, more advanced platforms like PS2 really don't belong on a vertical form factor. This is, as you can probably know by now, because I've been showing off this freaking game in every video, this is Legacy of Kain Defiance, a PS2 game, and I would always rather play this on a horizontal boy than on a vertical form factor. Now this is just a video render of the thing, but this, look at it, this feels at home. And it's curious because the PlayStation 2 wasn't ever on any handheld, but I think it's because the PSP existed. The PSP was a horizontal handheld, so the PS2, which is a close relative in our brains, I think we feel that it should belong on something horizontal as well. This feels at home. It's that simple. I mean, just look at this. I actually entered the game to show this off. This feels native. This feels as if the platform itself belongs in such a casing, in such a nice little medium where the specific ROM file, the specific game can be played. I just needed to show this part. This game is still cool after 21 freaking years. In case you haven't played Legacy of Kain so far, well, you simply need to play it, my nerds. This is undoubtedly... Well, and I almost dropped the thing. This is undoubtedly my most favorite series of games on any platform. Ironically enough though, I played way more Legacy of Kain on this one along the weeks that I've had this device, simply because this, and I think this is a very good point for a lot of people to know, this is a way better travel companion. You see, things like PS2 and PSP, because they have the same performance, these two share the same guts. They have the same SoC, same RAM, same internal storage, and because of that, there's nothing that the horizontal brother of this one can play that this one can't. But this one, while traveling, feels way better to carry around because all old games just feel way more accessible on this one. Whereas if I were to play GBA on this horizontal boy, then I would feel as if I'm emulating that game. But on this, my brain thinks that it's natively designed for such a device. So I am convinced that what I said kind of sounded confusing because I heard myself saying it. But what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to more modern retro consoles, the horizontal form factor is the go-to. It always was, and it always should be. It's just how these games feel natural. But if you want a, let's say, jack of all trades, where you want to play everything from arcade to NES to SNES to, well, you get the picture, everything plus some PS2 and GameCube and whatever, you can get this one, because this one feels universal for way more platforms, whereas I tend to look at the horizontal devices solely as way more optimized for more modern stuff. But now you might ask yourself, Vlad, you said that the horizontal one, this one, and the Retroid Mini by association, is one of your favorites. You've been waiting for a 4x3 horizontal handheld. Did you lie to us, Vlad? What the heck are you saying? Are you changing like the weather? No, my dear nerd, it's just that for me, part of my childhood is either NES and a bit of Game Boy, or something like the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1. And for those, I like to have a bit more power, and I feel like the horizontal form factor is compatible with those systems. However, just as you might know that I seriously love the Mio Mini Plus, well, the Mio Mini Plus is a vertical handheld, and I love it just as I love this guy. And I treat this guy like the big-boned, wide, bigger, way bigger brother of the Mio Mini, but this one is way smarter and way more performant and can do up to PS2. The dilemma is real, but the fact of the matter is that any self-respecting nerd should understand that, well, we can play anything on one single device, or at least most of everything. However, and I hate saying this, I really don't want to encourage this, but some platforms feel good on a horizontal and others on a vertical. Now, am I saying that you should get a million other handhelds? Of course not. But you should get the handhelds that deeply resonate with the games that you yourself want to emulate. So if, let's say, I'm traveling, even though I rarely travel, but the thing is that when I think that I would travel, I want to know that I would have the perfect handheld in case I want to actually go to a place and not enjoy it and just whip out my handheld instead and play games on it. I would want to know that I have the perfect device for that. And for that specific reason, for this specific scenario, I think the RG406V, and I don't mean like any vertical handheld, I mean this specific handheld, this is the perfect travel buddy, because this is one of the, well, not the one most performant, but one of the most performant verticals out there. Plus, in case you didn't see my review of this, you should really check it out. It has amazing sticks. This is the first device from Anbernic which got these new super wide range sticks. This I would travel with. However, if I'm really into PS2 at a specific time, there's no contest. If I know that I don't want to play the lower tier consoles, I will just grab the horizontal handheld instead. And yeah, it's all about priorities, my dear nerds. There's simply no competition here. Everything that is designed for 4x3 and 3D and modern just warrants a horizontal. Everything else warrants a vertical. But just like, I don't know if this applies to the rest of the world, but if you're in Berlin or a lot of parts in Europe, you get a shawarma with everything on it. The person might ask you, do you want onions or tomatoes on it? You just say, put everything on it. Same applies to this case. Might not be the best metaphor, but I think it applies. This is a shawarma with everything on it. This is a specialized kebab, okay? Some people might like a specialized kebab. Some people might like their shawarma to be big and fat and with everything, ranging from old Game Boy all the way to GameCube, PS2 and some other platforms which I'm not gonna mention because you know why. But anyway, my dear nerds, this is my quick rant on this. I hope we get to all have peace. If you love verticals, that's okay. If you love horizontals, that's also okay. If you're in either camp and you want to dip your toe in the other, use the links in my description. This is mandatory. However, let's all give up on this superiority complex, thinking that this is the only way to play retro games or this is the only way to play retro games. It's not, okay? Nostalgia is one fickle lady of the evening, and it's very subjective, and it's always molded from our memories that we have from our childhood. So we should concentrate on the feeling that we have and not the carbon copy experience of what we like. I hope this makes sense. I'm very tired at this point. I'm literally physically tired. I haven't slept a lot. So I hope my message and what I'm trying to convey properly carries out to you. But just in case I couldn't do this, you should subscribe to this channel because I'm probably way more easy to understand in other videos. Just saying, like and subscribe. This is not a joke, like and subscribe. But yeah, tell me what you think, my dear nerd. What do you think of this little discrepancy that we have? Are you a fan of both form factors? Are you a fan of just one of them? And if you only love one of them, tell me why. I'm very curious. But that's it from me, my dear nerds. We'll see each other in the next video. Up until then, I hope you know that I love you very much. Bye.